Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, I'm so sorry for uploading this video late because I was supposed to last week. Okay. Uh, Today I will present about new criticism, and uh, there are some objections for new criticism. First, introduction, historical background, key concept, strengths and weakness, and the last one is conclusion. Okay, introduction to new criticism. So, new criticism is a literary theory that focuses entirely on the text itself as the main source of meaning. This approach, I wish that truly understand a poem or a piece of literature, we don't need to look at the author's life, the historical background, or even how our readers feel about it. Instead, we should concentrate on what is actually written, the word structure, and the words, structure, imagery, and symbol used in the text. The idea is that every element inside a literary work is connected and contributes to its overall meaning. So when we analyze a poem or a story, we treat it as a complete and independent object. That's why nihilism is often described as an objective and formal way to study literature, because it focuses only on what's on the page, not what's outside of it. Soon, historical background. Criticism began to develop in the early 20th century, around around the 1920s to 1940s, mainly in the United States and the United Kingdom. At the time, many literary scholars were still using traditional approaches, such as biographical or historical criticism, meaning they try to understand a work through the author's personal life or the period it was written in. The new critics reject this idea. They believe literature should be studied as an independent object, separate from external influence like history, society, or the writer's emotion. Their goal was to make literary criticism more objective and scientific by focusing only on the structure, language, and environment of the text. Okay, there are some of the key figures in this movement were John Ransom, Glenn Brooks, and T.S. Eliot. John Ransom wrote The New Criticism, a book that actually gave the movement its name. Glenn Brooks is known for the well-wrote poem, which explain how unity and paradox create meaning in poetry. T.S. Eliot, also more famous as a poet, also write influential essays such as Tradition and Individual Talent, where he argued the literary value should be depend on the text itself, not the writer's personality. These thinkers helped shape how literature was analyzed in universities for decades, and the writer laid the foundation for modern post-reading practice. See, key concept. The key concept of the criticism mainly focus on how to read and analyze a literary text. Closely are what we call close reading. This means paying attention to every detail, the words, imagery, tone, rhythm, and structure, because each element in the text works together to create one unified meaning. One of the main principles is the idea of unity and tension. According to New Critic, as a good literary work has internal balance where every part contributes to the wall, the tension between different elements like irony, paradox, or contrast helps create depth and complexity in the text. Another important idea is called uh, intentional fallacy. This means that the author personal intention or purpose is not the key to understanding a work. What matters is not what the authors want to say, but what the text itself actually says. Similarly, there is concept of affective fallacy, which means that a writer's emotional reactions should not determine the meaning of the text. The focus should always remain on the text itself, as well as form and structure and on how we feel about it. So, in summary, new criticism teaches us to treat literature as self-contained work. where all meaning can be found inside the text without needing outside information. Strengths and weakness. One of its biggest strengths is that it teaches us to read literature carefully and objectively. By focusing on only text, we learn to pay attention to details such as imagery, tone, and structure. This helps us understand how the elements of work fit together to create meaning. New criticism also made literary analysis more systematic and disciplined, which is why it became very popular in academic settings. However, new criticism also has some weaknesses because it completely ignores the outer background and the historical or social context. It can make a text feel disconnect from the real world. For example, it doesn't question how culture, for example, our culture, politics, or personal experience might influence influence a writer's work. It also assumes that all readers can find the same meaning just by reading carefully, which isn't always realistic. So while neo-criticism is excellent for understanding the internal structure of a text, it's not very effective for exploring the wider cultural or human aspect behind it. That's why newer theories like radio response or post-structuralism later appear to fill in this missing perspective. To conclude, new criticism of the most influential literatures of the 20th century, it encourages us to focus on the text itself and to find meaning through careful, detailed analysis rather than relying on the author's life, historical background, or our personal emotion. The theory teaches that every element within literary work is word, structure, tone, and imagery connects together to create unified meaning. This idea of cross-reading remains very useful today, especially for students who are learning how to analyze literature deeply and precisely. However, even though criticism was groundbreaking in its time, later literary theories began to point out its limitations, such as ignoring context, culture, and the reader's perspective. Still, its method of analyzing the text closely continues to influence how literature is studied around the world. In short, criticism reminds us that before looking outside the text, we should understand what the text is trying to say. I think that's all for me. Thank you.